Alright, let's dive into this hot-button issue that's got retired government workers and policymakers clashing. And honestly, it's way more interesting than it sounds. Picture this. You've spent decades in a government job, retire expecting a stable pension, and suddenly realize your buying power's shrinking every year because inflation's eating away at your savings. Now, imagine a group of pensioners demanding a complete overhaul of how their pensions adjust to inflation. That's the core of the Bharat Pensioners Samaj's demands to the 8th Pay Commission. But here's the twist. I think this isn't just about retirees. This is a window into how India balances fiscal responsibility with generational equity, and it raises some uncomfortable questions about who we prioritize in our economic policies. Let's unpack the headline demand first. Revising Dearness Allowance, DA, and Dearness Relief, DR, every 3 months instead of 6. On the surface, this feels like a no-brainer. Inflation doesn't wait 6 months to spike. Anyone who's watched grocery bills skyrocket knows that. But hold on. Quarterly revisions would mean more frequent hikes in pensions, right? But here's what many overlook. This isn't just about adjusting numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about the government's ability to predict inflation trends accurately. If they base adjustments on a 3-month average, they might be reacting to short-term volatility rather than long-term trends. Personally, I think there's merit in faster adjustments, but shouldn't we be looking at a more sophisticated inflation index that accounts for essential goods disproportionately affecting retirees? Now, the DR merger at 25%. This is fascinating. Right now, DR acts like a temporary supplement to pensions during inflationary periods. But merging it permanently once it hits 25% would lock in those gains forever. What's the big deal? Well, imagine if inflation spikes to 25%, which, let's be real, would be catastrophic, and then stabilizes. Pensioners keep that 25% forever, while future retirees might not qualify if inflation's lower. That creates a two-tier pension system where timing of retirement dictates lifelong benefits. In my opinion, this exposes a deeper tension. Should economic shocks determine permanent pay structures? It's like giving a bonus that becomes a salary hike, great for the recipient, but what does it mean for budget sustainability? The push for a 45,000 Indian rupees minimum pension feels like a political rallying cry more than a fiscal analysis. Let me explain. The average pension in India isn't published nationally, but anecdotal evidence suggests many receive far less. At face value, 45,000 Indian rupees sounds generous, until you consider urban living costs. A one-size-fits-all minimum ignores regional disparities. If you're in Mumbai, that amount barely covers rent. In smaller towns, it might stretch further. What this demand really reveals is a frustration with stagnant policies in a rapidly inflating economy. But here's the catch. Doubling pensions risks creating a fiscal black hole. The government would either need to cut elsewhere or increase debt. As a taxpayer, I have to ask, where's the balance between dignity and realism? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the 3.83 fitment factor. For non-wonks, this multiplier adjusts basic pay to determine pensions. BPS wants it tied to current employee demands, which seems logical until you realize this could create runaway costs. If they base it on active workers' salaries, what happens during economic booms versus busts? This feels like a stealth demand for perpetual wage indexing. From my perspective, this could incentivize retirees to lobby for higher salaries in active sectors just to boost their own pensions. It's a clever strategy, but does it risk distorting labor market realities? Zooming out, this debate isn't just about numbers. It's about intergenerational fairness. Pensioners argue they've paid into the system, but younger workers face worse job security and stagnant wages. If the government prioritizes retirees today, who protects millennials tomorrow? What's fascinating is how pension politics mirror cryptocurrency debates. Both involve promises of value preservation in inflationary environments, yet one's backed by state power and the other by decentralized chaos. The real question isn't about DA revisions. It's whether we can build economic systems that protect all age groups without creating unsustainable burdens. So, as we wait for the 8th Pay Commission's report next year, I'll leave you with this. When we demand policy changes, are we solving problems, or just shifting burdens to future generations? Let's discuss in the comments. If you found this analysis eye-opening, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into India's economic puzzles. Stay curious, stay critical,